My name is Giulia Tagliazucchi, and I am co-author with Professor Gianluca Marchi of the present contribution selected for the annual Synergia SIMA conference. Our work in progress tries to grasp a connection to identify a link between the educational offer of the university and the ability of the university to foster innovation processes through the development of a triple helix approach in the interaction with industry and government. Our contribution is taking the moves from two elements. The first one is the evolving role played by university by the time, widely depicted into the academic literature. Indeed, as knowledge becomes an important part of innovation, university role has changed from being a conservator of knowledge to a producer of knowledge within the first academic revolution, and more recently, to becoming a generator of cutting-edge scientific knowledge within the second academic revolution. Lately, universities are called to take on a more entrepreneurial and engaged role into the knowledge society. The second element is the awareness that knowledge must not only be generated, but it must also be disseminated and transferred. And in this, the role of teaching is central. The university is then called to change its traditional missions, according to which university is more working for the sake of knowledge. Rather, universities are called to work for the sake of solving specific and compelling problems and challenges confronting society. The model adopted to investigate the university's action as driver of innovation is the Triple Helix Model, introduced by Etkowitz and colleagues. The Triple Helix Model is rooted into the concept of boundary spanning, according to which innovation activities are favored when academia, industry, and government are able to act and interact in a collaborative way, influencing each other. In this perspective, the university is called to play a central and more active role in economic development and in fostering innovation processes. Although existing academic missions are in place, universities tend to carry out them in new ways. Along with translating research into economic development through various and new forms of technology transfer, the traditional teaching role should also be reinterpreted. According to Etkowitz and colleagues, the new entrepreneurial and engaged role of university is not limited to research-intensive university. Rather, it can be enacted at teaching-intensive as well as research-intensive university through innovation in undergraduate education and continuing education. The traditional teaching role should then be reinterpreted as the university assists the modernization of low and mid-tech firms. Innovation in teaching should be then dressed to meet the evolving needs of the labor market for innovation by using the collaborative approach at the intersection with industry and local government in order to obtain a constant fine-tuning with the sectoral patterns of change and the competencies required by the regional innovation system. So, even if the Triple Helix Model, as contemplated and theoretically justified the role that teaching can play as mean of boundary place, to our knowledge scant attention has been devoted to empirically investigate it. We then try to answer the following research question. Whether and how can the university take on an entrepreneurial and engaged role within the knowledge society through innovative educational programs? In trying to do so, we adopt a case study methodology by focusing on the activities held by a medium-sized university, Unimore, in collaboration with the local motor vehicle industry and the Emilia-Romagna regional government. We focus on two specific educational programs, namely the Automotive Academy and the Mooner program, in which both Unimore has a proactive role. The choice of a single case study and a nested approach allows us to study the evolution of Unimore in its specific context and to gather rich longitudinal and meaningful data to answer the research question. Specifically, we draw on the collection of original data from both primary and secondary sources of information within the organization under a logical field experiment, and then adopted a theory-driven approach and a content analysis. Our preliminary results show that the creation of a boundary space requires the development of new structures and skills within all the organizations involved. The preliminary results then allow to trace back the internal transformation lived by Unimore by the time on which are rooted the subsequent boundary spanning activities. Also, the role played by the three institutions over time is emerging in creating the conditions for the most enriching programs to be set. Our preliminary results from this work in progress also show the main features of the programs aimed at innovating the educational offer according to the Triple Helix approach. The evolution lived by Unimore allowed to develop skills and internal structures that lead to the creation of the two programs under investigation. Both the programs have the specific objective of intersecting the needs of the local industry, and both were built and run in collaboration with the local regional government and the local firms. More specifically, as far as Mooner is concerned, it is a partnership with the 4 regional universities and 10 manufacturers. And it is stated as a completely new configuration of the educational offer in engineering as developed through 2 new master degree programs. Both programs were born thanks to the mutual adaptation and the construction of favorable relational context over time among the institutions. Without going into detail about the specific features of the program, which are reported into the extended abstract, I would go on to discuss the results. Overall, 2 emerging elements contribute to the building of a wider and more effective boundary space between universities, government, and industry. Overall, both the programs facilitate the introduction and diffusion of new technologies, skills, and knowledge by promoting an innovative and interdisciplinary approach in research, and by introducing a new way of teaching and radically changing the training and education of future engineers. 2 elements in particular allow the creation of a boundary space. First of all, both programs are set up as a collaborative platform, allowing the consolidation of relation between the three institutional actors during the planning and the management of the programs. Second, both the programs set up an innovative educational experience based on internships, company visits, joint research activities, innovative teaching techniques, learning by doing approach, and contamination between university knowledge and professional experience, so that student becomes the diffuser and lever of innovation into the industry sector and into the firms they will work for. Our study is not exempt from some limitation. This is a study still in its early development, so we need more documental data to strengthen the data triangulation and reliability. We also need a longer-term monitoring of the results and the outputs of the programs and an in-depth focus on the collaboration partnerships and management practices among the three institutions. However, the contribution of the study resides in delineating how a medium-sized university has reinvented its educational offer to support the local regional system under the lens of the Triple Helix Model, thus enriching that stream of research. The study also will provide a framework that could inspire other universities to take on a prominent role in order to support both innovation policies and technological and knowledge transfer, thanks to the creation of cross-organizational and cross-institutional educational programs. Thank you for your attention, and do not hesitate to contact us for any further information about our research program.